Hello retro gamers and welcome to another episode of Retro Game on PC. It's been roughly 8 months since I've released an RGO PC episode, and sadly the reason for that is a bit silly. To record my game footage, I use an Elgato Game Capture HD, which, as the name suggests, requires a HDMI cable. Since my retro gaming PC does not support that, I rely on a VGA to HDMI conversion box. One day, however, it stopped working and I procrastinated the issue for a long time because I didn't know what the solution was. I spent a lot of time swapping out cables, trial and error, until I spotted the problem. The USB power lead had fallen out. So yeah, if you're ever feeling a bit dumb, just remember that I didn't release a whole series of videos for over 8 months because the USB power cable wasn't plugged in. Not my brightest moment, but hey, I've successfully plugged it back in now so we can get on with the review. Today I'm taking a look at Carmageddon, released in 1997 by Stainless Games and SCI. For a nutshell description, I'm going to quote directly from the Wikipedia article. I know that's a bit of a no-no, but they best sum it up in less than 10 words. They say, Carmageddon is a graphically violent vehicular combat PC video game. Graphically violent vehicular combat. Okay.
Inspired by the movie Death Race 2000, which I'm led to believe is a cult classic from 1975, Carmageddon pits you in a race to the possible death. Having said that though, this game prides itself on giving you a choice on how you can play. Sure, you can complete the race in the traditional sense if you really want to, but you'd be doing yourself a bit of a disservice. The real fun lies in completing each level by taking out the competition and being the last one standing. Or alternatively, and even more sadistically, by killing every single NPC human that's roaming the rather large environments. Having said that though, it doesn't really matter if you're a bit of a pacifist and try not to kill anyone, because you kinda need to thanks to a time limit. This time limit starts out quite low too low to let you straight up complete a race within the provided limit. You need to increase this time limit to realistically be able to play, and that's of course achieved by running people over. Sure, you get time increases by taking out opponents, but you'll very quickly run out of time if you don't indulge in a bit of vehicular-aided murder. As you can guess, this game was quite controversial for the time. It actually has the honour of being the first game to be refused classification by the BBFC in the UK and was completely banned in Brazil. So because of that, there were first release versions out there that replaced the humans you run over with robots or zombies with green blood. But luckily the BBFC did end up giving the original version classification 10 months later after appeals. It probably wouldn't have mattered anyway though, to be honest, since there are plenty of free patches floating around the then young web to restore those versions to their former glory. Thank you the internet, you're very grand. On the other hand however, I should add that it was classified first go in Portugal and Australia. While I don't know much about the going-ons of the classification board in Portugal, I have to say that it passing scot-free in Australia first go surprised me. We have one hell of a classification board here that will block games for stupid reasons when other countries don't, and I assume that they assume we're all a bunch of little kids that don't have the mental capacity to accept adult themes. In fact, I think they gain sexual pleasure from blocking games, seems to be the only logical reason sometimes. But hey, that's totally off topic. I'm just surprised they let this through. They must have been too busy being wankers somewhere else that day. Bitching about government bodies aside, what else does Carmageddon offer? For one, there is a lot of content packed in. You start off with a rank of 99, and the goal of the game is to be number 1, so there are a lot of races included to get you to that milestone. You start off with an entry-level death machine, but all the killing, carnage and occasional race winning will earn you credits. These can be used for a few things, but the most expensive purchases the game offers are the vehicle upgrades. These improve your speed, defense and offense, and are vital if you want to stay relevant and in one piece in this violent in-game world. These can also be used to repair your vehicle on the fly while racing, which can give you a nice advantage if you're okay with spending the dosh. Additionally, if you flip your car, for the small sum of 1000 credits, the game will correct you. Another thing to note is that if you take out an opponent, the game might give you their vehicle to use yourself. This is not available for all vehicles though, so it's worth playing the game to be the last one standing, so you get the opportunity for all vehicles. Some are faster but easily take damage, while others are slow but are built like a tank. Taking out all opponents was my personal favourite way to place, as racing was too mundane when the first option is available, and killing all civilians was just way too hard. Most races have hundreds of little pixelated humans running around, and I don't really have the time or patience to take out every single one. But at least the option is there for the sadists among you. To aid you in your endeavours, there are also power-ups scattered around the levels. Most will give you extra points and time anyway, but also offer a number of advantages as well as disadvantages. Some common examples include freezing your opponents, giving you a speed boost, or a damage advantage. Others are quite cool, like this laser that automatically disintegrates the NPCs for a certain amount of time, while others don't help at all except to add a laugh. Pinball Vehicular Death Machine? Don't mind if I do. To say that most of the AI have the smarts of a bag of game.coms would be an understatement, as their primary goal in life is split between driving towards the next checkpoint or ramming you into next week. They also have a tendency to get themselves stuck, which is annoying if you want to destroy them all to win. One such example had the last standing opponent stuck on its side under a body of water. You can drive underwater, I should add, but naturally your movement is a bit restricted, which makes ramming hard to do. I wasted a lot of my timer, which translates into points when you finish, slowly pushing this guy out of the water so I could ram him to bits in the natural atmosphere. Having said all that though, they do remember you. The instruction manual sums it up best by referring to them as having the mentality of a sex-starved bull. If you take them out, they might make it their one and true purpose to destroy you in the next race, which makes it interesting if you choose to take out everyone in every race anyway. I should add that there are also cops in game too, hinting that maybe the game world isn't so bad after all. But of course, you can destroy them for points as well. They do come a bit menacing later on in the game though, so I found it easier to just dodge them if possible. The game levels are huge and quite well detailed for the time. There are easily dozens of levels, and while there isn't a unique environment for each, the 10 or so that are there are repurposed to not make it feel like you're playing the same level every time. The layout of the tracks you can keep to if you want to race always change, but weather and daytime effects are tweaked as well, keeping it reasonably varied. The levels look nice considering their sheer size, but the models of the cars look even better. They're nicely detailed and textured, even including what looks like real-time reflections on the windshields, even if it is baked in. But what really impressed me was the damage model of each car. Each vehicle can be twisted and contorted in many different ways depending on how you hit them, which is of course very satisfying. I imagine this was very ahead of its time in 1997. I personally don't remember seeing anything of that level until the mid-2000s.
Overall, I had a lot of fun playing Carmageddon. The fact that it gives you a lot of leeway in how you can play is a big reason for that as well. Later on there was an expansion pack released called the Splat Pack, which included new tracks, vehicles, and among other things, 3D FX support. It was also released on a fairly broad range of other systems as well, including Mac, PS1, N64, and even the Game Boy Color. There was also several sequels, including a reboot released last year. One day I'll review all of those as well, and I'll tell you all about them. If you want to play the original now, it's actually been ported to smartphones including Android as well as Apple, but it's also available on GOG.